Hi, everybody, and welcome to the College Bowl edition of Proline. Got a couple of us right here. John Cranton is on board from Jim Feist Sports, and I'm Dave Cokin. We are glad to have you with us. And, John, we're going to get right into it. We got some great stuff coming up to talk about as far as the bowls are concerned. It's time to go bowling. Very exciting this year in Las Vegas, as in addition to the Las Vegas Bowl, which is a very good matchup between Fresno State and USC. It's one of the earlier bowl games. In addition to that, the Rebels are in a bowl game playing on New Year's Day in the Heart of Texas Bowl against North Texas, a virtual road game. So good luck to the Rebels. Looking forward to them doing well there. Meanwhile, we can get things started by talking about some big stuff that's going on with the offers. And we'll start with you talking about what Jim's got going on. Let's get some big stuff this weekend.
He sure does. Jim has got his Santa outfit on, his stocking stuffer, sports stocking stuffer available. For $25, you're going to play with Jim through Christmas Day. You get all sports, football, hoops, hockey, and it's all for $25. He's on a 26-13-1 NFL run. Just get aboard with his stocking stuffer special from Jim, 1-866-841-1655.
My college football down the stretch has been really good. It's actually turning into a very nice college football season. I am never satisfied. Never. I expect to win every game I bet, which obviously is not going to happen, but I still expect to win it when I make the bet. You rarely hear me get real excited about, I'm doing well. I'm supposed to be doing well. I don't know. So I'm not going to sit here. If you've watched enough of these shows, you almost never hear me talk about my record. It's good, okay? The college football season's been a good season. It can always get better. And I'm hoping that the bowls are just awesome. I like the matchups this year. A lot of the guys around the industry are talking about, tough board. I think it's a good board because there are certain edges that I think we're going to have emotionally as far as these bowls are concerned. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But here's the last opportunity for you to get the bowl package, and it's a Proline only rate. If you see it advertised online, it's a lot more than this. Here's the best way to get it right now. Bowl package, and this includes a bowl play on every game. Now, I'm not going to have a strong play on every game, but you're still going to get a rated selection on every game. And the strongest one of all, my bowl game of the year, that's included. So it's $99 online. I'm going to give it to you for $49 if you mention Proline when you call. It's a play on every single bowl game. The bowl game of the year is included with that. And I'm also going to toss in a week of basketball. And if nothing else, you want to be, my college has been back and forth lately. It's not bad, but it's been kind of 50-50 the last week. But the NBA is ridiculous. I'm on a huge roll in the NBA. I think it's probably the best NBA roll I've had in a few years. So, boy, this is a pretty good offer to take advantage of. $49, 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. Okay, let's start with some tips. I mean, look, these are not hard and fast rules. They're just ideas. But if you're doing your own handicapping, not the worst ideas in the world, right, John?
That's correct, yeah. One to keep in mind would be extra prep time for these bowls, and that has to do with the coaching staff and the defensive coordinators in particular. That's what I look at. I mean, some of these offenses out there, like Navy's option attack or Auburn's unique triple option, it's complex and it's tough to prepare for. So if you think about during the regular season, you got 1 week, 6 days that they have to break down film and try to teach guys to defend it. It can be difficult. Well, the bowl season totally different. Teams can have 3 to 5 weeks of prep time. So you want to take a close look at defensive coordinators and what their track record is. For instance, Navy last year in that option attack, they were a 12-point dog in the bowl game to Arizona State. It was a blowout. Arizona State killed them 62-28. So make sure you know who your defensive coordinators are. Florida State earlier this season, they had the bye week before they played their rival Clemson. Great offensive team in Clemson. Well, Florida State killed them 51-14. It was the worst offensive production of the year for Clemson with 4 turnovers. Michigan State had their bye week right before playing rival Iowa. Worst offensive game for the season for the Hawkeyes. 14 points, 264 total yards. When you look at the one loss that Auburn had this year was to LSU. Well, LSU did play the week before, but it was a MAC team, Kent State. And Les Miles admitted we were rotating guys on defense. We weren't playing our starters. And he admitted we're really focused on next week's game, the SEC opener against Auburn. And they won 35-21. And then Stanford late in the season had their bye week right before playing rival Oregon. Worst offensive game of the year for Oregon, a 26-20 win. So that bye week, Dave, can really be significant if you have competent coaches.
I think that, to me, handicapping the Bulls, you can't throw out the stats, all right? They're still important because you want to know what teams are good at and what they're not good at. But you really have a whole different mindset that comes into play in the Bulls. And I'll particularly focus on the minor Bulls, the lesser Bulls. This is where getting as much information as you can is going to pay off, because you are going to find games where one team is really excited to be there and the other one isn't. It's a vacation for the other team. Doesn't automatically get you to the winner's circle, but I'm going to tell you something. It really increases your chances. Also important, and the information's out there. You just have to know where to look for it. So I don't want to mislead anybody and say I've got inside information. I don't have inside information. I just have good contacts, and I've gotten pretty proficient. I'm an idiot as far as computers go, but I know where to search. Okay, and I've got my sources. They're not personal sources, but they're good sources in terms of people who cover teams for every college football team in the FBS. And I check these on a regular basis. It doesn't take long because they don't publish every day for the most part. So, but the thing is, you can get really good information on these teams, and it's helpful throughout the season. It's more important in the Bulls. The other thing to factor in is just the tendencies that coaches have in these bowl games. Some are good at it and some aren't. Some are good at handling the breaks between the regular season and these bowl games, and some aren't. So the stats that you can work for and trends that you can work on as far as that goes. The reason I like the bowl so much is I have all this time to zero in on game after game after game. I end up playing a higher percentage of bowl games than I do in the regular season, much higher percentage. I'm probably going to play, I'm talking about not just opinions, but play more than half the bowl games. I would never do that on a Saturday in the college football season. That's the information and the ability to siphon things out pays off at this time of year. I think first and foremost, for those of you who are looking for just a general good idea, use Twitter. All right? You can find out through Twitter by doing little searches as far as the teams are concerned, who's covering them, and then start following those people. You get some good stuff out of there. It's free too, okay? Facebook's more of a... Facebook's become useless, quite frankly. That's just my opinion. I was going to say Facebook's also a good choice. To be honest, Facebook is more about putting a picture of what you're eating for dinner up there. It's more of a social gathering place. It's fun, okay? But as far as news and stuff like that goes, Twitter's much better. All right. What do you think? Let's get to some games. But before we do that, let's check in with our man in the street, Jeff Saad. From LVSS, Jeff has a free National Football League total. What do you got, Jeff?
Thanks, guys. Got a free pick coming up in the NFL, but first, get 7 days of action from LVSS for just $7. That will include the opening of the Bowls this weekend, my December NBA Game of the Month Friday, and my AFC Game of the Year going Sunday. 7 days to $7 with LVSS. Call 1-866-575-8916. Free play comes to the NFL on Sunday as the Raiders and Chargers meet in San Diego. Can't see the Raiders defense showing up in this one, the last road game of a lost season. The last two road games, they've allowed 37 and 31 points to the Cowboys and Jets. Plus, Oakland is on a 5-1-1 run over the total and 5-2 over the total on the road. San Diego is fourth in the NFL in passing, 14th in rushing under new coach Mike McCoy, and comes off that euphoric win at Denver. In 3 of the last 4 games, the offense has scored 41, 37, and 27 points. Take the Raiders and Chargers to go over the total. Once again, get 7 days of action from LVSS for $7. That will include the opening of the Bowls this weekend, my December NBA Game of the Month Friday, and my AFC Game of the Year going Sunday. 7 days at $7 at LVSS. Call 1-866-575-8916.
Let's go to a football game, and we'll check in first with the Beef O'Brady Bowl. We do not have any Beef O'Brady's out here in Las Vegas, but it looks like a fun place in seeing their advertisements on TV. Maybe we'll get one someday. Well, we've got some fun places as it is out here. This could be a fun game. Ohio and East Carolina, John.
Yeah, their big favorite here, East Carolina, is because of this incredibly talented offense. When I look at them, it's not a great defense. They're 51st in the country, giving up 25.2 points per game. And when East Carolina faces a team with a winning record, just 6-18 against the spread, I do like this Ohio team. If you're going to face a team like East Carolina that can score so many points, you want to have some type of balanced offense. Frank Solich has been a proponent, generally speaking, in his career of that, and he really has the talent to have it for this game. You got a senior-laden team, Bo Blankenship, very good running back, 844 yards, 4.6 yards per carry, senior wide receiver in Dante Foster, and the quarterback's another senior, Tyler Tettleton, in a very good year, 20 touchdowns and only 9 interceptions. Didn't finish strong, but here's the thing: when they have been an underdog, they've actually have done pretty well. In non-conference games, they're 5-1 against the spread. In the last 2 years, they've won both their bowl games. Ohio has. A year ago, at this time, they were 6.5-point underdog. They destroyed Monroe 45-14. The year before that, it was either a pick'em or a small dog against Utah State. They won the game 24-23. And even early this year, when they played Marshall, they were 7.5-point dog and they won straight up 34-31. This East Carolina team is 3-4 against the spread as a double-digit favorite. One of those games was away from home against Tulane, 13-point favorite, very similar to this, and they lost the game straight up 36-33. So I like Ohio's balanced attack, senior-laden team. I think they can hang within this very big number, Dave.
I think this is going to be a really high-scoring football game. The minor bowl games have a tendency to go this way. Ohio, their defense is absolutely atrocious. Their defense stinks. And not only that, this team mailed it in down the stretch. They played some horrible football at the end of the year. They did win their last game, but that was against UMass. And even in that game, I don't have the score in front of me, but UMass got into the 20s in points. I think, 28, something like that? UMass can't score on anybody. They've got no offense. So even in that game where Ohio finally got their offense cranked up, it was against a horrible team, one of the worst teams in the FBS. And they still gave up a ton of points. They didn't stop anything down the stretch. We heard some rumors of not turmoil in the team, but just kind of a laissez-faire attitude. It showed in the field. They had some really bad games down the stretch. The Toledo game was a disaster. I don't like this Ohio team right now. I'm not thrilled about the idea of laying 2 touchdowns. East Carolina's coming off their own disappointment. I think they felt they had a real chance to win Conference USA. And they got that last weekend of the regular season game against Marshall they got crushed in that game. But you saw in that game the East Carolina defense failed miserably in that game. I think their defense will play a little better here, but Tettleton and the Ohio offense probably good enough to put some points up. Good luck to Ohio stopping the East Carolina defense, even in that blowout loss to Marshall. East Carolina's moving the ball up and down the field, and they got their share of points. I think this game's going to hit 80. Just a up and down the field, score at will game. You'll see the playbooks fly open for both teams. Maybe a 45-30 type of game. I do think East Carolina's going to win it, but I'm more comfortable with the total than the spread. So I'll go over in the matchup between Ohio and East Carolina. Let's look at the Hawaii Bowl next. But before we do that, a word on how you can get free plays from both Jim Feist and myself. It's very, very easy. For me, you text Cokin, C-O-K-I-N, to 313131, and you'll get back the free play each day on a text message. They've done extremely well. If you go back to the beginning, about 50-50 lately. They're not losing. They're not winning either right now, but, nobody wins all the time. But you're talking about 100 games, roughly, of profit, net profit, since these things started back in, I think it was March of 2012. That's extraordinary. And again, I'm not asking you to buy anything here. These plays are free. So text Cokin, C-O-K-I-N, to 313131. Same story with Jim. John, it's very easy to get his free play each and every day.
That's right. Every day it's sent right to your cell phone. Just text WINNER, W-I-N-N-E-R. You get a free play from Jim. It just pops right up, and there's the play. One play every day. WINNER, W-I-N-N-E-R, to 313131.
Let's go to the Hawaii Bowl. Boise and Oregon State, the 2 lucky teams to be spending Christmas in Hawaii. That is not a bad. I can tell you, who wanted to go there was UNLV. They were hoping they'd get that bowl bid. I was talking, I do the coaches show with Bobby Houck, and it was off the air. We were in a commercial break, and it's just when UNLV hadn't gotten bowl eligible yet. This is when they were sitting at 5 wins, and it's like, boy, it'd be nice to get that 6th one, get it out of the way, get bowl eligible, and have you heard anything on where you think it might go? And he goes, well, we're hoping for Hawaii. Well, it didn't happen. They ended up in North Texas, or in the heart of Texas Bowl, but believe me, the Rebels are excited about that. But for Boise and Oregon State, fun time. Go out there and play in Hawaii, and this is usually a fun football game. It's just the attitude that teams have when they get out there, is let's throw it open and see what happens. Oregon State, they don't run the ball anyway. For Mike Riley's team this year, the run basically has been illegal. Okay? They just rear back with Canfield. He throws it all over the place. And, he didn't finish the season playing real well, but this guy had a great year overall. Boise State, they've got their starting quarterback back now, who was out for a good portion of the year. Oregon State's defense, a little shaky down the stretch. I think this is very much what we just talked about in the Ohio-East Carolina game. Minor bowl game where both teams come in loose and have some fun. And when the word fun enters into the mix in handicapping a football game, you think over. Okay, you don't think of fun in a low-scoring game where they're hitting the snot out of each other in every play. This is going to be wide open. I think the teams go up and down the field, touchdowns, not field goals, over the total with Boise and Oregon State.
I'm going to take a look at the side in this one. We're looking at a Oregon State team that is just tremendous early on at throwing the football, and then they kind of slowed down the stretch. I mean, the offense the last 5 games during that skid, 12, 14, 17, 27, and 35 points, just 21 points per game. So I wonder if they're going to be able to score a lot on this very good Boise State defense. But like you said, they don't run the football at all. They spread the field, throw it every down with this kid, the quarterback Mannion, who just had a monster season, over 4,000 yards. Man, yeah, 36 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 66% completions.
Canfield was there years ago. I morphed into a different era. Mannion, obviously.
Yeah, and the thing with Boise, they didn't have Joe Southwick for a while. He hurt his ankle on October 19th. Did come back, though, for a little bit for the final regular season game. It's a good, balanced offense. And, boy, they have a super sophomore power back in Ajayi. 1,300 yards, almost 6 yards per carry. So they got plenty of offensive punch. The defense is pretty good, although they were not a good team away from Boise, just 2-4. Straight up 3-3 against the spread. But still, I like the way Boise has been playing down the stretch and getting their quarterback back, and Oregon State has been shaky. So, Dave, I'll take a look at the Boise State in this one.
All right, let's get to the best bets, and we'll once again recap what we've got for offers this weekend. Let's start with yours, John, and once again tell us what's happening with Jim's stocking stuffer.
Sure, I'll go. Best bet would be the big underdog here, Ohio, and Jim Feist stocking stuffer. He's playing Santa Claus early for $25. You're going to play with Jim every day right through Christmas, and that includes Christmas Day, and you get everything: hockey, NFL, bowl action, basketball, college, and pro. Just call Jim 1-866-841-1655.
All right, and I'm going to go with the total of the Ohio-East Carolina, the Beef O'Brady Bowl, to go over the posted total. I think that's going to be a very high-scoring game and fun to watch as well. And that's the thing about the minor bowls. They might not mean much, but they're a lot. They really are fun to watch because the coaches usually loosen things up a little bit, contributes to high-scoring games, and I think you'll get one here. The offer is for the bowl package where you get a rated play on every game. All 35 bowl games, including my bowl game of the year. I'm also including a week of basketball. The NBA in particular has been tremendous lately. The only way to get this for $49 is to call and mention that you heard it on Proline, because it's not advertised anyplace else at this price. So sign up now for $49 by calling 1-866-896-1629. That's 1-866-896-1629. Mention that you saw it on Proline. You get the $49 price, and there you go. That's going to do it for us. So for Jim Feist and John Creighton, I'm Dave Cokin. Thanks a lot for watching. Good luck in the bowls, and we'll talk to you soon.